This story comes from an EMT in Texas who recently had a paranormal encounter. Due to staffing issues during the pandemic, EMTs in this area helped out the coroner to pick up deceased bodies. A woman on hospice had passed away in her home. The entire family was in the living room, and they directed the EMTs to the bedroom. The EMTs went inside where the body was alone and began placing her in a body bag. They finished and began pushing the gurney outside of the bedroom. One of the EMTs glanced at the bathroom attached to the room. The door was open and the lights were off, but the EMT could clearly see the bathroom mirror. In the reflection of the mirror, the EMT could clearly see a figure standing in the bathroom. It was the same lady they had just placed in the body bag. When she looked further inside the bathroom, there was no one there.
This girl right here was babysitting and found a weird CD that said, "Do you want to see a ghost?" and took it home. What happened next when she put the CD in was terrifying. I'm gonna roll the clip right now.
You've probably heard of the elevator game, and if you haven't, you're gonna learn today. The elevator game is a very suspicious paranormal game, and some people think that it was even behind the death of 𝐼𝓂𝓅𝓃𝓉, the girl who died at the Hotel Cecil. I'm gonna tell you how the elevator game works, but y'all already know the drill. Don't try this at home. So basically, you get into an elevator. You need to be in a building that has at least 10 floors. There's a specific order that you have to follow with the floor. This is the order right here. When you get to the 5th floor, you supposedly encounter a woman. If she tries talking to you, do not respond to her and don't look at her. After you see this woman on the 5th floor, press the button to the 1st floor. If the elevator takes you down to the 1st floor, then leave and don't look back. This means that you were let go safely from the game. If the elevator goes up instead of down, then that means that you've entered a different dimension. Things might look slightly different now because you're in a different dimension. And if you see the woman, do not talk to her, don't even look at her. Part 2, I'm going to talk about how to get back to the actual world from the different dimension.
Today I'll be telling you why you should never sleep in a double bed. And if you do, never sleep on just one side. As legend has it, if you fall asleep only on one side of a double bed, you will start to feel somebody creep around your room. The first night this happens, the thing will lay next to your bed and you will just hear heavy breathing. The next night, it will lie down next to you on your bed. You will hear its deep breathing and you will feel its breath on your neck. If you allow this to continue, you will wake up with your bed shaking in the middle of the night. The thing will start jumping on your bed, but whatever you do, don't let it know you're awake. If it thinks you're awake, it will begin to scratch out your eyes and then afterwards suffocate you to death. And that is why you should never sleep in a double bed.
Can you do the man in the field? Okay, this one's actually really creepy. So this is a paranormal game where the point of the game is to summon the entity of a man into your yard at night. I don't suggest any of you play this game, as you know summoning entities can be very dangerous. So to play this game, you must have an empty house, only you in it. It has to be dark outside but before midnight. And you need a candle or a lantern and also a crucifix. The crucifix part makes it really creepy to me. So you have to go into your yard at night when it's dark out but before midnight, have your crucifix on you somewhere, have your candle or your lantern lit, close your eyes and say 7 times, "Who will scare away the crows?" After the 7th time, it's reported that you should hear a voice saying, "That's not your biggest problem." Return into your house and don't look behind you. Make sure that everything in the house is closed, like all the drawers, cabinets, everything. You've now invited the spirit onto your property. Follow for part 2.
Paranormal Disneyland Stories Part 2. This one even has video surveillance. One park guest went to ride Space Mountain by himself. He started making conversation with the red-headed stranger in line next to him. The man was nice, but appeared a little off because he wasn't really up to date with some of the recent changes Disneyland had made. They were seated on the ride next to each other, and the roller coaster started. The park guests enjoyed the ride, but at the end when the lights flashed, the red-headed man disappeared. He spoke with a cast member about it, and they told him he was the only one in that row. That guest might have just had an encounter with a ghost nicknamed Mr. One Way. People say he interacts with guests in the line, rides with single riders, and even has appearances in the cast locker room. Surveillance footage even picked up some strange images that might be evidence of Mr. One Way. Scary stories sent by you. Do not watch this if you are home alone. This is another story from Toronto, Canada, sent by one of my followers. When the sender of this story was young, his school had late starts on Wednesdays. He was in his room when everyone else in his house left for work. He heard noises coming from downstairs and thought a family member had returned home. But things got very strange. Suddenly he heard a huge stomp and the sound of someone running up the stairs. The steps were so loud that it sounded like a bowling ball being dropped on each step. He was so scared he just froze with fear behind the door. He was able to call his aunt who lived across the street. She came over and checked the house, but there was no one else there. Years later, the sender of this story spoke with his mother about the incident. She had also had paranormal encounters at the house, so she called a priest to investigate. They looked around the house, and out in the garden they found the cause of the issue. Someone had buried 3 witch totems to curse their property.
Have you heard of this South Asian serial killer who escaped from prison not once but twice? 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓉, nicknamed Psycho Shankar, was an Indian serial killer known for a notorious series of rapes and murders committed from 2008 to 2011. He started his career as a truck driver, which is how he would carry out many of his crimes. Shankar first delved into the world of crime in 2008. As he was driving, he started targeting sex workers along the highways in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. He also targeted women in farmhouses in rural areas to carry out his heinous crimes. By August 2009, he raped and murdered 12 women and raped another 6 women. His first crime was reported on July 3, 2009 when he attempted to rape and murder 45-year-old 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓉. But it was his attack on 39-year-old police constable 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓅𝓃 on August 23 that caught the attention of authorities. 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓅𝓃 was stationed at the 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓅𝓃 all-women police station. She was on temporary duty during the visit of a deputy chief minister when Shankar kidnapped her and raped her several times before killing her. The police recovered her body a month later and launched a manhunt. Shankar was arrested and imprisoned. By this time, he was charged with 13 separate counts of rape and murder. While in custody, Shankar revealed that he enjoyed torturing these women before killing them. On March 17, 2011, police took Shankar to court in Dharampuri to stand trial. The next day, armed reserve police constables were assigned to escort him back, but on the way, Shankar managed to escape at a Salem bus stand. Shankar escaped to Karnataka, where he raped and murdered 6 women in Bellary over the next month. He also killed a man and a child in Dharampuri. On May 4, 2011, Shankar reached Eligi village in Karnataka on a stolen motorcycle. He approached a woman named Chandrakala who was working alone in a field. He asked her for food and water, and then he tried to rape her, but she called out for help. Her husband and a friend came to her rescue. Shankar tried to flee but was caught by her husband and the other villagers. He was taken to the police station and then handed to the Chitradurga police on May 5, 2011. After this arrest, Shankar was sentenced to 27 years in prison. On August 31, 2013, the police took Shankar to a court in 𝐼𝓂𝓃𝓉 near Bangalore. After returning, he feigned uneasiness and was admitted to the hospital on the prison premises. He managed to secure a duplicate key and escaped on September 1, 2013 when the daily change of guards took place. He scaled a 30-foot wall and was able to escape because the electric fence wasn't working that night. He did fracture his foot on the way down. He was reportedly wearing a police uniform when he escaped. The police issued a red alert and an informant was able to get in touch with Shankar. The informant lured him to a dilapidated building near Kudlu Gate in Bangalore with promise of a motorcycle to facilitate his escape. The police arrested him. He was sent to the central prison in Bangalore to begin his sentence. He was kept in a secure cell and all his treatments took place there. On February 25, 2018, he attempted another escape which failed. He was held in solitary confinement. On February 27th, he committed suicide by slitting his own throat with a shaving blade.
Have you ever woken up with everybody gone? The guy in the video I'm about to play woke up with everybody in his apartment complex gone and strange things happening. I'm gonna roll the clip and show you exactly what he recorded and what I'm talking about right now. This TikToker by the name of Good Guy Dejected posted this video of something staring at him while he was in his bed. I'm gonna roll the clip right now.
I was on TikTok in my room when I heard something. I was hoping this bishop didn't move.
This man behind me is deaf, and he was recording a video to send to one of his friends. When he sent it, his friend noticed something running in the background. I'm gonna roll the clip right now.
Today I'll be telling you about the red wristband. In Korea, when a patient is admitted into a hospital, they wear a white wristband on their left arm that has their information and their name. And after they die and they get sent to the morgue, they have a red wristband on their right arm. This doctor was working the night shift, and the last patient he had operated on was at 2 a.m. So he was exhausted and decided to get on the elevator. He pressed on the basement floor and started to chit-chat with another lady who was on the elevator also with him. After the doors had opened to the basement floor, the woman and the doctor had both seen an old man try to get on the elevator. The doctor quickly shut the elevator and pressed on the 5th floor. The woman confusedly asked the doctor, "Why'd you close the door on the patient?" The doctor replied, "Only dead patients get a red wristband. You did see the red wristband, didn't you?" The woman then lifted up her arm and said, "One like this one?"